Hey everybody, today I'd like to talk about a story from the NBA that came across ESPN.com, Tim McMahon reporting, and this is about NBA star Luka Doncic and how he has learned to manage his emotions, which has resulted in him not complaining to the refs as much. So if you aren't familiar with Luka, he's plays for the Dallas Mavericks, having a great season, MVP candidate right now. And he has garnered a little bit of a reputation around the league for chirping at the refs. So if they call a foul on him or a call doesn't go his way, he's got a reputation for going up to him and having some words, let's just say. And this has become a pattern. And I want to use this as kind of an illustration for what I think he handled this really well. And he's only 22, 23, so still really young, but a lot of good stuff here that I think we can learn from. So here's the story. Here's how it goes. Dallas Mavericks superstar Luka Doncic has declared he is done ranting at referees and has discovered a trick to help prevent him from venting his frustration when the whistle doesn't go his way. It's a funny thing. I just started singing a song in my head, Doncic said after Friday night's 111-101 loss to the Philadelphia 76ers, when he had a frustrating performance, 17 points, 5 of 20 shooting, 6 turnovers, but no confrontations with the officials. One of my favorite songs I pick, and I just start singing and let the frustration pass. Tim McMahon reporting. So I like this for a lot of reasons. One, Doncic is taking ownership of the problem. All right, this is hard to do and rare. So he's taking ownership. There's all kinds of ways he can kind of blame. He can push out, externalize the blame. So he could easily say, well, these refs, if they just start getting these calls right, then I wouldn't have to fuss at them. I wouldn't have to talk to them all the time if they could just get the calls right. So he could easily, blame the refs. He could blame his genetics. We do this sometimes too. Well, I get angry sometimes, but my dad, he's kind of an angry guy, and so is my grandfather. So it's just in our gene pool. He could downplay. He could say, well, I might bark at the refs sometimes, but it never gets physical, and it's not that bad. All kinds of ways that we can justify our behavior, and he's not doing that. He's taking ownership. He's saying, no, this is not who I want to be. This is not something I want to continue. And if there's something that's going to change the situation, it's got to be me. So props to him for doing that. And he has found a way to manage his emotions, and he has found that by singing. So it's a little, maybe a little different, but it's worked. And so what's happening is when something happens to us, we can react out of the emotional part of our brain or the rational part of our brain. And sometimes what can happen is sometimes our emotional brain will overwhelm the rational part of our brain. So when we're reacting out of our emotions, oftentimes that's not helpful. And so for Doncic, the rational part of his brain may be saying, all right, Luka, never in the history of the NBA has a call been overturned because a player complained to the refs. Luka, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to, Luka, if you keep complaining to the refs, they could give you a technical foul and you could have more fouls. That's the rational part of his brain that would be able to, navigate those situations, in a better way. The emotional part of his brain sounds like it's taking over in those moments. And so call doesn't go his way, boom, he's talking to the refs. And so we've got to find a way. This is emotional management kind of 101. You got to find a way to give yourself some time so the rational part of your brain can re-engage. So the rational part of your brain can temper the emotional part of your brain. So this is called, when this happens, when the emotional part of our brain kind of takes over, this is called emotional hijacking. This is what Ken Sandy of Peacemakers Ministries has defined it. And so hijacking is strong emotions that lead to an impulsive reaction that is regretted later. And that's what's happening with Doncic. And he's finding a way to manage that with singing to himself. And I like singing because it diverts his attention away from what's going on. And singing, if you think about it, singing a song in your head, it's rhythmic, it's calming, and I think can have a physiological effect. I mean, it can, slow your heart rate down, you slow your breathing down. That will calm your body, give your rational brain a chance to engage and catch up. And when you're in that space, you're much better able to handle a bad call, which refs are going to make. They're human beings. So again, I thought it was a great example. Props to Luka Doncic for kind of modeling this for us. And if you can get this down, if you can learn to manage your emotions, that's going to make you a better parent, because you'll be much in a much better place to discipline your kids or deal with them when they are pushing all your buttons, and they will. This will put you in a much better place to have hard conversations with your spouse or an employee or an employer or a friend. If you can learn when you get hijacked, how you need to avoid that and how you can manage your emotions, that will put you in a much better place, and your relationships will improve. That's just the reality. So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story from Luka Doncic and how I think he models this well for us. So I hope that was helpful. Out for now, and we'll see y'all next time.